Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on this video. My name is David Pendleton, and today I'm going to give you a pretty simple, straightforward path to the 9-hole Cup Origin Links tournament. So, let's go ahead and get started on this thing. This is a pretty difficult tournament. You'll probably see, maybe if you're in a good bracket, a minus 13 winning. Some brackets will probably have a minus 14 in there. But we're going to go ahead and start off on hole number 1. And hole number 1 is going to be a par 3. And I'll show you 2 different ways you can play this. One is just going to be a conservative approach. And then the other one is going to be a little bit more aggressive. So right off the bat, we're starting off with a par 3, and you can use a navigator ball. It's good wind resistance with the wind resistance too. But what we're doing is we're putting our orange ring at the top of the fringe line. And then we're going to use about 3.5 backspin. And we're pretty much aiming directly at the pin here. And we're doing a 10% adjustment at medium distance of our sniper. And you see, we just missed that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. So we're just going to watch it again real fast. And I want you to pay attention to where my ball guideline is. Nothing else. We already know red at the top of the fringe and 3.5 backspin. But look at the ball guideline. It's going to be right here on the right-hand side of the dark seam of the green patches. So almost like I'm splitting the dark and the light green patches. What we're going to do in the final round is we're going to move that just inside the dark green. So we're going to be more on the dark green patch than we are here. And that's going to get us right at the pin for the hole-in-one. Because you can see we barely missed to the right. So that's what we're going to do to fix it. All right. Now, if you want to play this hole a little bit more aggressively, you can do that with a wind 5 ball. Because, of course, in a 9-hole tournament, you're going to need as many drops as possible to win it. So here is the same shot with a power 5. With a wind 5 power 1 ball. And I want you to see my ball guideline. Now, you see how I moved it just barely inside that dark path? So that's what I did to correct the adjustment. And then the same thing here, a 10% adjustment. Now, with a wind 5 ball, you're going to have to use less backspin. It's very important to know you're going to need 3 backspin instead of 3.5. That's the biggest difference. So you're still going to do the orange ring or your red ring at the top of the rough. And then just take your 10% shot, okay? So there's 2 different ways to play hole 1. Then we'll go right into hole number 2. So hole number 2, of course, is going to be a par 4. And all we need is a navigator ball on this one as well. So what we're going to do on this one, guys, is we're going to play the drive 10% elevation. And when this course was on hole 8, on tour 8, I always played it this way. I always played to the right and had very good luck. We're going to go full top spin. We're going to go full left spin with the navigator. And we're going to use just a little bit of left curl, like half of a ball. You don't have to use any left curl. I just like to get on that side of the green. So like a fourth of a ball, half a ball, left curl. And you see we've got a nice roll there onto the fairway. And we're pretty close to the pin from this angle. Shot number 2, I play with no elevation. And I pretty much played this one at minimum distance of my thorn. And you'll see we barely snuck this one onto the right-hand side of the cup. So, I'll continue to play it at minimum distance of the thorn, but I'll just add 0.2 rings to it. So if I'm supposed to pull 2 rings, I'm going to pull 2.2 moving forward. So that would be a really big start to get the eagle on both holes to start this -4. And then we're going to go on to the third hole. Now the third hole, in my opinion, is a little bit more difficult drive. But I did find this one, and it works pretty consistently. And it even works if you hit a bad great left shot, which I did here. I may switch this out to an APOC. I have an APOC 4 just to get more curl. But I wanted to show this to you because if you have an extra mile, you can still hit this shot with an extra mile. So you're going to use your Titan. You're going to go full left spin, about 4 bars of top spin or as much top spin as you can get. Full left curl. And you can even see that I hit a great left shot here. I was still able to hit the fairway and get, an aggressive roll. So that shot is pretty foolproof. I've been able to hit it each time so far with no issues. But I think an APOC would even give you a better accuracy and, of course, more curl to make sure just in case you hit a bad, great right shot, you'll still be okay. And then shot number 2, when you hit the fairway like that, is going to give you an opportunity for an albatross. So I'm just playing it just right over the sand. It's very safe. Be no issues with the sand getting in your way. But you can see here by executing the drive, you have a very safe eagle, and you have a great shot for the albatross. So far we have a path to go -6 through the first 3 holes, which would be freaking awesome if we're able to duplicate that in the finals. And we come just so close to dropping this shot. All right, I'm going to show you hole number 4 2 different ways. And I'm going to show you why this is important. So yesterday I went for, like an extra mile and a Titan to try to hop, this water and this sand and stuff. And I ended up hitting sand. So I'm switching to a quarterback to keep the drive safe. I'm leaving just a little bit of room at the top of the green there, or the top of the fairway, so my ball doesn't roll into the rough. Now this was my first attempt at this quarterback shot. No overpower, no spin. Just leave yourself some room at the top of the fairway so you don't roll too long. All right? So with this distance, I left myself with a bad shot to the green for the second approach, which I'm going to show you because just in case this happens to you, you can kind of see how to bail yourself out of a bad spot. But after this, I'll show you how I corrected this hole, and that's how I'm going to play this hole going forward tomorrow. So you can see here that we're trying to get a sniper rough bump. but I was already at max distance. So I applied a little bit of topspin just to make sure that when I hit this rough here, we'll be good. So with that, we're good. Now, let me show you a better way to take this whole approach. So another account. And what I'm trying to do here is get to where it says +1 and then back that off. So let me restart this. Let me back up here. All right, so you see on the quarterback here how right now we're at +6, +5. And then we're at +0 right there, +1. So I went to the +1 and I moved it right to +0. And I was able to gain more distance this way, okay? And you're going to see on this shot that I still had some room at the top of the fairway. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, just so you know, is I'm going to take this shot from the +1 yard mark tomorrow, which will give me even more distance on the drive. Now, even at the +0 mark on this shot, I had no problem with a rough bump. But you see that I have plenty of room there to get more yards. And then shot number 2. Shot number 2, we had no problem with the rough bump. But again, with this being my first time making the sniper possibility rough bump, you can see I'm going to leave my ball guideline here. 3 top spin, 1 left. I left my ball guideline pretty well through the pin, like maybe 2 squares. Now, we hit the perfect shot, but our ball died a little bit here. So we're going to either go higher up the rough or just apply more top spin. But either way, we're very safe in that area. Hole number 5 gives us another opportunity for another hole-in-one. Now, although this one's a little bit tougher, there is a pretty good way to play it. So what we'll do here is we're going to play this one 30% elevation, okay? That's really important. So 30% elevation, and we're going to go 3.5 left spin. And we're going to be aiming our blue ring at the top of the fringe. And we're aiming directly at the pin here, okay? And then once we aim at the pin, we need to apply more left side spin. But in this situation, I applied a little bit too much. So I think we're going to go 3.5, aim at the pin, and then make it 3.75. And we should be right on track with this. Now, the nice part is you don't need any top spin or back spin. You're going to see you hit this shot. And we have really good speed right to the hole. We just put on a little bit too much left spin, but you can see we're very close to the hole-in-one right there. All right, hole number 6. To me, this is the hardest second shot in the game in this tournament. But we're going to go power 5 ball. And we're going to put our yellow ring at the rough line with 1.5 top, full left in this situation with the ball guideline there at the very end just through the rough. Now, we don't need any overpower. We will use a little bit of left curl just to make sure we don't end up in the rough or the sand. And you'll see here, this is a very simple fairway drive. What I don't want to do is put too much topspin on because you can get a pretty significant roll up there at the top. But we do need more yards than that. So I might just take off the left curl and just play that one 2 to 2.5 topspin. Because in qualifying, or in yesterday when I did my dry run, I was able to get to the green with my big dog, no problem, with only 4 topspin. So I was less yards here on my drive, which made me apply a lot more topspin with the big dog. And I should have even gone more because I did get stuck in the rough here, but I was so close to the hole, it was a very easy chip in. So we hit a perfect shot. You can see I applied a lot of topspin. So we can either go overpower next time or just more topspin. But I was so close to the hole here, I had no problem chipping in. And as you saw from my scorecard earlier, we picked up the eagle there. But just get more distance on the drive, and you're going to be just fine. The key is to use that left spin on the drive and get your ball guideline exactly where I had it, because that's been very stable. We just might need to eliminate a little bit of the left curl. All right, so now we're going to go into hole number 7. Hole number 7 gives us a very good opportunity for another eagle, which I made yesterday, but missed today. But hole number 7's drive is going to be with the Kingmaker, and it's going to be played 20% elevation. And you're going to be very safe to go 4.5 topspin here, but don't use any overpower. So it's a very simple drive, very safe, no fear of going into the rough. And this type of distance is fine, all right? So it's going to lead up to shot number 2. I was able to sneak in shot number 2 yesterday during my dry run, but I just barely missed it today. But the shot's pretty consistent. You're going to have your Goliath. You're going to do a rough bump. And you're going to be playing this one at max distance of your Goliath. Now, the Goliath 8 is going to give you a really good ball guideline. So anything below a Goliath 8, you just want to try to get your ball guideline through the pin, just like this. And a pretty significant amount through the pin, because you can end up short on this rough bump. So just kind of way the green rolls. Make sure you have a good tail through the pin. And you saw about 5 right spin is the key, with a few bars atop, and we get good speed, we get a good roll. We just barely miss onto the left-hand side there. And that one was played at 40% elevation. So shot number 2, guys, is 40%. on the hole number 8. Now, hole number 8, I'm not trying to get a hole-in-one. I'm just simply doing my best to just get this one on the green and just take the birdie. This is the hardest par 3 in the tournament, and I've played this one a couple different ways. I tried doing the bounce from the fairway onto the green with the sniper, which was no problem that you can do. But I did hit a great right shot yesterday on one of my accounts, and I ended up in the sand. So after that, I'm like, forget it. I'm just taking the Guardian. This is how I played it in Tour 8 many months ago when it was in Tour 8, before I even knew about rings and all that kind of stuff. I just used to play with almost a max backspin Guardian and a couple side spin and right curl. That's how I always played it, and it gets you really close, just like this. And that's the easy birdie, okay? Now, hole number 9 also gives us a great shot for an albatross. So this is how we're going to play this one. We're going to be bringing our APOC. We're going to go full top with a whole bunch of right side spin. We're going to adjust this 10%. We're going to go no overpower, but we are going to go with right curl until the left part of our ball touches that little arrow right there. See on the ball guideline? So we'll watch that one again real quick. Because if you hit this drive, it's going to give you a straight shot for an albatross opportunity. So full top. And, we're going about 5.5 right side spin. Okay. We're putting the yellow ring right onto the rough line. And then we're going to take our 10% adjustment. And then we're going to use right curl. I want you to look at the left-hand side of my ball and how it's touching the right-hand ball marker target right there. That's our position. It's a very simple, very safe drive. Brings us to shot number 2. Puts us at a great albatross opportunity. And I didn't make it, so no reason to show it, but there it is. So you'll see how easy of a shot it is to get to the green and line it up. So that's it. Right now, we've qualified in first on the account. A -13 is going to be a very good score in the finals.